was remembered there in that minute of silence. Sevilla playing all in red for Jorge Sampaoli. Duncan, it's been a magnificent start to his first season on a bench in the Liga Santander, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Yeah, it has, Simon, and of course, you know, it was nearly an even more magnificent start right at the very beginning of his Real Madrid career, his Sevilla career, because don't forget he faced Real Madrid in the Supercopa de Europa, the European Super Cup, and almost beat them if it wasn't for Sergio Ramos scoring that last-minute goal, and then Madrid winning it in extra time. Jorge Sampaoli would have started with the title.
Well, we're certainly used to seeing the South American bosses approach with Sevilla, high pressing, and they've certainly proved to be a really difficult team to face, and they're putting Real Madrid under pressure early on. It was down to Casemiro to steal that one. James with his first touch, and he picks out Nacho Fernandez in at the centre of defence alongside Rafa Varane tonight, because both Pepe and Sergio Ramos still not 100% match fit after the FIFA Club World Cup performances back earlier in December.
Well, that's right, Simon. Both Nacho and Varane come into the side. An opportunity for both of them, actually, an opportunity for us to see them, because certainly Pepe and Sergio Ramos is the preferred partnership at centre-back for Zidane, so it's a great opportunity for them to put in a good shift here tonight.
That's a good ball in from Modric, and somehow Alvaro Morata manages to spray it wide. It all started when Nacho picked out Carvajal. Modric looks up, and it looked to me as though Alvaro Morata was just a shade offside.
Yeah, I think he was just offside. The Sevilla defence stepped up very deliberately and looked to catch Alvaro Morata offside.
Escudero does well there and was brought down, and Materilov calls the action back for the free kick. Zinedine Zidane, who was asked about plenty of individual players in his pre-game press conference yesterday, and when asked about Pepe, he stressed that Pepe is a player who's already in the history of this club after 10 years at Real Madrid, and as far as Zidane is concerned, will continue to form part of his plans. Rami unable to control that.
Sevilla just showing how they're looking to play here at the Santiago Bernabeu. They may be away, they may be in one of the most difficult stadiums in the whole of Spain, but playing out from the back, having more possession at the moment than Real Madrid, trying to keep control of the game in midfield. That's how Jorge Sampaoli likes his side to play, and so far that's what Sevilla are trying to do, and that's what they've done all season. They really have been so efficient and so effective under Sampaoli. You mentioned earlier, Simon, they're third in the division, just 4 points behind Real Madrid, although the Whites do have that game in hand. As you mentioned, they went to Japan to play in the FIFA Club World Cup, which they won, of course, beating Kashima Antlers 4-2 in the final.
That's a good ball in to Correa by Escudero. I think it may have taken a deflection off Nacho. First opportunity for the young Argentine striker, who's displaced to the bench this evening both Luciano Vieto and Wissam Ben Yedder. Perhaps the only thing really lacking from this Sevilla side, Duncan, is an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, 100%.
And certainly Sevilla have demonstrated that they hope to be in action in the winter transfer market, looking to remedy that. Going up for that, Vicente Iborra got a touch to it, but unable to hit the target. It's going to be interesting, I think, more than anything, to see how Paulo Enrique Chagas de Lima, better known fortunately for us as Ganso, performs. The Brazilian playmaker tucked in behind Correa tonight. Hasn't had too many opportunities under Sampaoli so far this season.
He hasn't. He's played 6 times in La Liga. This is his 3rd game in the Copa del Rey, so yeah, we haven't had too many opportunities to watch him. It's another player that I'm sure the Sevilla fans will be focused on tonight. Very keen to see what he can do, wearing the number 19 shirt. as you said, just playing behind Carlos Correa.
Well, Marcelo puts the ball into the box, trying to return it to James, who'd found him in the first place. It's a big opportunity for James Rodriguez this evening. He's one of perhaps two players who are the exceptions to the rule of this Real Madrid squad, who seem very, very happy with Zinedine Zidane on the bench. I think it's fair to say that both Isco and James not quite so satisfied. They're the two key players, perhaps, it's fair to say, who haven't been getting the minutes they'd certainly hoped for. Meanwhile, it's Marcelo making an intelligent run. It's Marco Asensio, keeps the ball in play, has time to look up, finds Toni Kroos, who completely misses the ball. Dani Carvajal to keep the attack going. Little return pass from Modric. Neat run from Rafa Varane. Here's Carvajal. Can he put a decent service in? Driven to the far post, too firm for Alvaro Morata. It's a goal kick.
Well, it was good pressure on that occasion from Real Madrid. Sevilla, at the beginning of that move, trying to play their way out of defence. Real Madrid made it very, very difficult for them in the end. They won the ball back and almost created an opportunity to score. So good pressure from Real Madrid. These two managers will have a good idea how the other one will want to play, and it'll be very interesting to see how the two of them take each other on tactically throughout this game.
Certainly a few eyebrows were raised earlier this evening, and perhaps it's fair to say yesterday as well, with the absence of Ronaldo. Zinedine Zidane in that press conference talked about Ronaldo, didn't mention the fact that he was planning on resting him, but seeing a Real Madrid without any of the members of the attacking trident, the so-called BBC, Benzema, Bale and Ronaldo, well, we haven't been used to that for a few seasons. Great opportunity for Morata, James and Asensio tonight. This is James looking to combine with Modric.
There's been rumours in the press, hasn't there? You mentioned the fact that James wasn't particularly happy. There's certainly been plenty of rumours about James leaving Real Madrid, but also Alvaro Morata, some rumours suggesting that maybe he would be looking for a return to Juventus, where he was so prolific and played so often, played such a key role in that side. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Alvaro Morata, I think you could put him alongside James in considering himself now world-class, as well as the likes of Toni Kroos and Isco, who are also players who find themselves out of the Zidane team on occasions. And obviously it's very, very difficult to keep players like that happy on the bench.
Absolutely, especially at the age Morata finds himself at after his success, as you said, at Juventus. He would have expected perhaps more minutes, but he does perform for Zinedine Zidane whenever called on, and he'll be looking to get in amongst the action tonight. It's all Real Madrid in these opening minutes. James looking for Modric. Varane showing too much strength there for Correa to deal with. Kroos spreading it out to Carvajal. Madrid like attacking down this right flank as the fullback tends to push up. Kroos again. It's a well-weighted ball, kept in play by Carvajal. Modric doing well to prevent a possible counter-attack there from Sevilla, and the ball finally going out for a Sevilla throw. Escudero takes it. Mercado back to Sergio Rico.
Look at the pressure from Real Madrid. Literally two players inside the Sevilla penalty area. That means that Sergio Rico doesn't have time to pick out his man. You can see it wasn't the perfect pass from the goalkeeper, and it's led to a Real Madrid throw-in on the far side. There's Sergio Ramos.
Well, certainly we can expect to see a bit more pressing up front, perhaps from Madrid, with the presence of Asensio and Morata. Meanwhile, Madrid clearly dominating the opening exchanges. Nacho square to Rafael Varane. Varane picks out Dani Carvajal, who gets beyond Vitolo with certain ease. Casemiro to Kroos. Asensio back to the German. Modric. Sampaoli's side happy to wait for Madrid to come to them. The attack petering out on that occasion. Rami square to Mercado. They've gifted it though. And what a fantastic finish from the man of the moment, James Rodriguez. Fooling, bamboozling Sergio Rico. And it was tentative defending by Sevilla, but James, when he got a sniff, didn't turn his nose up, and with a lovely curling left foot shot from just outside the box, makes it 1-0. 10 minutes gone, and who said we'd miss the BBC up front for Real Madrid?
Well, there's certainly not too many left foots or left feet in the game like this one. Wow. Wonderful strike from James Rodriguez, and you just can't afford to give the ball away there. It wasn't the best pass out, I think, from
Mercado.
Nzonzi tried to get there. He felt he was fouled. He was really hustled off the ball from Casemiro. I don't think it was a foul. Casemiro got there for me. And then James doesn't miss from there. Wonderful curling strike, and you just can't give the ball away in those kinds of areas when you've got a player like James on the field.
Absolutely crucial, I think, the role played there by Casemiro with that high press. Nzonzi was let down a bit by Mercado's pass. And, well, as you said, if you're going to try and play the ball out from the back, you've got to be absolutely clear that you're going to avoid that kind of gift. Brilliantly taken, though, by Rodriguez. No chance for Sergio Rico. He curled it outside Rami. I think the keeper saw it as quick as he could, but he was never going to get there. 1-0 to Real Madrid. There's Kiko Casilla. Hasn't seen too much of the action in these opening 12 minutes.
No, he certainly hasn't. And while Sevilla have had a fair share of the ball, it's all been in their own half. They've been building from the back, but they haven't managed to build very much at all. They've got to the halfway line, and that's about it. We've hardly seen or mentioned Kiko Casilla or the Sevilla front line. And at the moment, it's Real Madrid who are making life very, very difficult for Sevilla. They just can't get out from the back.
Absolutely. We've hardly mentioned Ganso at all, and he's going to be so important tonight if Sevilla can get into this game. More good pressing there from Morata, and Nzonzi forced to drop back and look for that. Ganso dispossessed immediately. It's won back by Nasri. And these are the players that Sevilla want to get in contact with the ball as soon as they can. Mariano, here's Ganso. That's a delightful ball into Correa, cuts it back, but there's nobody arriving from behind. Madrid failed to get it away. It's a wild attempted clearance from Casemiro. And in the end, it's going to be a corner for Sevilla, headed out by James Rodriguez, and a bit of hesitation there from the Madrid defence too.
Yeah, really poor defending from Real Madrid, actually. And James Rodriguez, who we're seeing now scoring that stunning goal, tried to nod it back into the keeper. And it was almost a very dangerous header. In the end, it went out for a corner kick, which was, well, much better than it could have been.
Swung in to the far post, no problems for Kiko Casilla. But we saw that move, how quickly Ganso laid it into the box for Correa, saw the Argentines run. And Ganso, well, we were mentioning before the game started, Duncan, he's got a certain look of Riquelme about him. He looks slow, he looks to have all the time in the world, but when he chooses his pass, it tends to be a killer. And that's what Sampaoli will be hoping to see for the rest of this evening's proceedings.
Well, he's got bags of quality, we all know that. We knew about him when he was at Santos. Him and Neymar had that famous partnership in Brazil. And it's great to see him in Europe and great to see him at Sevilla.
It's a great play by Marcelo. He followed through. It nearly fell for James. In the end, Sevilla get it away. There's a chance for Mariano to chase that, but all the advantage for Nacho Fernandez. Now Casemiro. Toni Kroos.
Well, it's a wonderful start from Real Madrid. They're bossing it. They're making life very difficult for Sevilla. The only negative for Zidane is the one time they've had to defend. They almost made a mess of things at the back, and I'm sure if Sevilla are able to push up, are able to get the ball into the Real Madrid half, which they haven't been barely so far, then they could well cause problems for this Real Madrid defence.
Modric spraying it wide to Carvajal, the chip. It looked like there could have been a possible handball there from Vitolo, and in the end it's Modric who puts it inches wide.
Wonderful from Modric. It's the Croatian who starts a move, and then this kind of overhead scissor kick, which would have been spectacular if it had gone in. See it here from a different angle. Great effort from Modric, inches wide.
Got some real power behind it. No wonder he's lamenting the miss. Meanwhile, Madrid come again. Cruz first time out. Marco Asensio. Here's Marcelo. Lovely turn from the Brazilian. Didn't quite feel he could get a shot off. Morata doesn't think twice. And his Polak's the defender. It'll be a throw-in to Real Madrid. Morata really struck that, and Rami really felt it right in the side of the face. Fortunately, he just was able to turn his face a little bit away. But it'll be groggy after that one. Really excellent start to 2017 from Real Madrid. Mateo Loth, the referee, just a little bit concerned for Adil Rami. Rami tells him he's okay to continue. Marcelo with the throw-in. Luka Modric handles it unintentionally. I think it took an awkward bounce, but Mateo Loth was well placed to see the action. Steven Nzonzi, such a key player for Sevilla so far this campaign.
And he's another one. We were mentioning rumours from the Real Madrid squad. Rumours also that Steven Nzonzi could be leaving. Number of teams potentially willing to offer Sevilla his buyout clause, which is 25 million euros, which, the way he's playing this season, is an absolute bargain. He's been one of the best midfielders in Spain, and I'm sure there's a number of sides that will be very interested in Steven Nzonzi. I'm sure as well that Jorge Sampaoli will be absolutely desperate to keep him, because he's been key to this Sevilla team.
Yeah, the way he's really come on from his time at Stoke City, hasn't he? Just taken the extra responsibility that Sampaoli's given him. Meanwhile, Madrid come again. Marco Asensio causing problems down the left, and that one just nodded down by Mercado, I think it was, into the hands of Sergio Rico. Nzonzi starting things off again. Here's Mariano. Sevilla starting to see a little bit more of the ball, but again finding it hard, as you said, Duncan, to break over the halfway line. This is Mercado outside of Escudero. Prefers to go back to Iborra. Nzonzi.
Look how well organised Real Madrid are, and they snap up any mistake from Sevilla. A loose pass there at the back from Mariano, and it's Real Madrid who are on it immediately.
Marco Asensio, once again Marcelo, his loyal servant, out to the left. Asensio didn't choose that option. He wins a throw-in, and once again, a little bit of sloppy play at the back from Sevilla, very nearly costing them. But it's only a throw-in on this occasion. Marcelo to take it. Here's Morata. Oh, he does very well to get away with that. Marcelo again manages to find Asensio. Asensio going wide and winning the throw. Well defended by Mariano. Sampaoli looking concerned. Puts on such a show in the technical area. Here's Marcelo. Well, it's worked out pretty well. It's well collected by Dani Carvajal inside to Modric, looking to find the return ball. Sergio Rico quickly off his line.
I'm not surprised that Sampaoli's looking worried. He came here determined to try and outplay Zinedine Zidane's side. He said in the pre-match press conference that Sevilla will be coming here to win the game, to play football, to dominate possession. to create chances and to take a first leg lead back to Sevilla. Well, they're a long way from that at the moment. A long, long way. His side, when they do see the ball, it's more with the goalkeeper than with the strikers. They've barely got into the Real Madrid half, and at the moment it's Zidane's side who, don't forget, are missing a number of important players who are dominating this game.
There again you saw that dreadful pass out from Gabriel Mercado, really leaving Steven Nzonzi in a difficult, awkward situation, one that was brilliantly taken advantage of by first Casemiro and then James Rodriguez. Meanwhile, here's Modric on the ball for Real Madrid. Carvajal does brilliantly. Cruz very nearly linking up with James, and it'll be the first corner of the game, and it's in favour of Real Madrid. I think it's actually the second, isn't it? Toni Kroos with a smile on his face.
And it was excellent defending in the end, Simon, from Sergio Escudero. Had he not got to that ball, James Rodriguez was arguably through on goal and could have got a shot away. So a good interception from Escudero, even though he has given away a corner kick here.
And it is the first by Real Madrid. Toni Kroos is going to take it. Morata lurking. And Sevilla up against it here. Kroos with the corner. Getting his head to that. Vicente Iborra. And Dani Carvajal safely plays it back to Kiko Casilla. Has several options. Prefers the long attempt. It fell to Morata in the end, who wins a free kick. Brought down by Victor Machin Vitolo.
Another one of Sevilla's danger men that we've barely mentioned in this game. In fact, I think that's the first thing of note that he's done, and it's a foul for a tug on a shirt after giving the ball away, which really tells you a lot about his first 21.5 minutes from Sevilla.
Yeah, and I think the body language of Joaquin Correa there, the furthest forward of the red-shirted players, just really frustrated at not even getting a sniff of the ball so far. Here's Nzonzi. Escudero. And Nzonzi once more. Nasri taking his time, looking for the best option. And Nzonzi down the line. Neat one in for Correa. Gets into the box and wins corner number 3 for Sevilla. But it is difficult coming to a ground like the Bernabeu without a tried and tested goal scorer in your starting 11. And that's the situation faced by Sampaoli tonight.
They've done so well in the past, haven't they, replacing goal scorers who've left the club.
Swung in by Ganso. Correa couldn't quite get to it. Vitolo being harried by James there. It comes to Escudero. Mariano driving it back in. And there's a huge appeal from 3 Sevilla players looking for a penalty. Mateo Laoz is having none of it. And there's a yellow card there. The yellow card, I think, was for Vicente Iborra. Let's have a look. Well, Carvajal's got a bit of a grab on his shirt there. And I suppose with rule book in hand, you could understand the appeal for a penalty, but it would have been certainly tremendously soft had he given it. And, well, he's got himself booked in the process for dissent. I think Mateo Laoz at the moment on top of things.
Yeah, he doesn't take anything like that, does he, Mateo Laoz? He's a well-respected referee in Spain and certainly does things like that very, very well. Any dissent and it's a yellow card, and, well, it stops players from making a fuss.
And I think James is going to be penalised for dangerous play there. The boot was raised. But Kiko Casilla was forced out of his area as Sami Nasri raced through. The ball bounced awkwardly and Casilla was able to head it clear. Sevilla enjoying perhaps their best moments here. Down goes Vitolo. Mateo Laoz, the ref, waves play on.
That looked like a foul to me, I have to say. I thought Dani Carvajal was late on Vitolo. Of course, you can go shoulder to shoulder, but it looked like more of a barge for me. Carvajal was nowhere near the ball and almost shoved Vitolo off it. Look, he's put his arm across him and he's shoved him to the ground. That's quite a clear foul for me, and it's right in front of the referee.
Well, that's Mateo Loth for you. As we mentioned before the game kicked off, he's a referee often described as the most English-style ref in Spain. Famously, Jose Mourinho, at his time at the Bernabeu, said he was his favourite Spanish referee. He's one of those love them or loathe them types, really, but does try and let play flow. On this occasion, however, Nacho clearly brought down and the yellow card in his hands. And that's the second booking for Sevilla. And it's Ganso himself. Don't think you can have too many complaints about that.
No, it's a bit of a nasty one, and he doesn't make too many attempts to actually play the ball, so the referees decided it was a petulant and almost professional foul.
Kiko Casilla looking for his best option here. Dinks it towards Modric, down to Dani Carvajal. There's Casemiro. Asensio back to Carvajal. Now James gets it back from Asensio. Neat combinations there from Madrid.
Asensio's got real class, hasn't he? Every time he's on the ball, just looks like a quality football player, and he floats around the pitch. He's almost got that kind of Isco or Andres Iniesta style of almost looking like he's floating with the ball.
Once again, Sevilla failed to clear, and Madrid keep coming at them. This time it's Casemiro. Can't see a way through. Plays it back to Casilla, who's playing more out of his own penalty area than in it so far. And Zonzi just catching Asensio, free kick. Luka Modric. It's Dani Carvajal. Oh, cuts in nicely to get away from Escudero and Vitolo. Meanwhile, it's Cruz who has a go. Didn't quite catch it. But Sevilla seem to just be playing with a little bit more intensity since going behind. Good attempt there from Marcelo of a scorpion kick to keep the ball in play.
I think they're trying to add a bit of intensity to their game, but at the moment, all they're doing really is giving away free kicks, picking up yellow cards. We've seen a couple in the last 2 or 3 minutes. At the moment, it's just frustration after frustration for Sevilla. They can't get the ball down and play it. They can't dominate possession, which is what they like to do under Jorge Sampaoli. At the moment, I think Real Madrid are playing very, very well indeed. As you can see there, they've had 3 goal attempts to Sevilla's 0. They're dominating the match, dominating possession, and so far it's just frustrating for Sevilla, but an awful long way to go.
Here's Dani Carvajal. Consummate ease with which he took that one away from Vitolo. Lovely ball over the top for Luka Modric. He's supported by James. Little back healer to the Colombian. In comes the cross. Marcelo arriving. He struck the volley so well. And the ball's still in play. And finally Vitolo putting it out. And there's going to be a corner for Real Madrid. What a cross from James. And what an attempt from Marcelo.
Well, what a build-up in general. It was a fantastic piece of play from Real Madrid, and this volley, well, if it's not straight at the goalkeeper, that's in the back of the net. What a strike from Marcelo. He catches that so well, and you just saw him afterwards looking up to the heavens. He knew that would have been a goal that would have been replayed and replayed and replayed.
Well, Madrid earn a corner from it. Their second of the evening. Toni Kroos to take it. It's an in-swinger this time, and it's in the back of the net. Rafael Varane, unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box, just with the side of his head, angles it away from Sergio Rico. 29 minutes gone, the Bernabeu on its feet. It's Real Madrid 2, Sevilla 0, and I'll tell you what, Duncan, there's no BBC out there tonight, but so far this is one of the most impressive Real Madrid performances we've seen this season.
I quite agree. One of the most impressive Real Madrid performances against one of the most impressive sides in La Liga this season, albeit that Sevilla are playing dreadfully so far tonight. Real Madrid, of course, playing very well, but there's no excuse for this. Absolutely no excuse. Rafael Varane has a free header there. He's got no one marking him. OK, at the moment, Jorge Sampaoli's game plan isn't going according to plan. Real Madrid are dominating the possession, and Sevilla are purely frustrated. But there's no excuse to concede a goal like that from a set piece. Even if your game plan isn't going well, surely you can still defend in the area. Sevilla don't do it. Rafael Varane has a free header. It's a brilliant header by the Frenchman, don't get me wrong, and Real Madrid completely deserve this 2-0 lead. But Sevilla are playing terribly.
And they're really struggling here. It's fallen to Toni Kroos. Here's Morata. Oh, lovely turn. Still Morata. Can he go all the way? In the end, the shot was lacking power, and Sergio Rico, with delight, was able to palm it clear, because that had all the looks of being Madrid's third. And Sevilla are, as you just said, all over the shop. James with the cross. And Casemiro will be penalised there for bringing down Ganso. Well, Sevilla really need a timeout right now, don't they?
They absolutely do, yeah. Well, I think if there was such a thing in football, Jorge Sampaoli would have taken probably 3 or 4 already in this game. They're all over the place, as you said. There are 6s and 7s, and Real Madrid are going for the kill. They're going for the jugular, and quite right, because they could put this entire tie to bed in this first half if they carry on like this.
Well, certainly, I think a lot of the experts around Spain, Duncan, were expecting a really tight game, especially in this opening period. But Madrid have come out, and you have to give them credit, because if Sevilla are struggling so much, it's because Real Madrid's game plan is working out absolutely perfectly.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. And Zinedine Zidane has been really criticised, hasn't he, since he took the reins at Real Madrid. Even when he started, he was a bit of a kind of joke figure, almost. I don't want to go that far, but it was a bit like, well, let's see what Zidane did. He was a brilliant player, but is he a great manager? All he's done is manage Real Madrid Castilla. He came in, and I think a lot of people were expecting him to fail. He came in after Rafael Benitez. Rafael Benitez had had a terrible 6 months in the job. He then went on to win the Champions League. He's gone 37 games unbeaten. People still saying, for a lot of those 37 games, well, he's been a bit lucky. Well, surely you can't continue to say this man is lucky. He's 37 games unbeaten. Real Madrid are at the top of the league. They're playing the best football, arguably, in Spain. They're unstoppable. And tonight they've come across one of the best teams in La Liga. And at the moment, Jorge Sampaoli's side quite simply don't have an answer.
Well, they have won what seems to be a fairly controversial free kick given by referee Mateo Laoz. The foul on Vitolo by Rafael Varane. It took Mateo Laoz a while to get that decision taken, and certainly the home fans disagree with it. Let's see what Samir Nasri can do here. Can Sevilla get back into the game? It's going to be Nasri, driven in low, and Ganso trying to flick it onto the far post. Got too much contact on it, and it skied over the bar. Well, certainly, yeah, your comments, Duncan. I mean, he was on a bit of a no-win situation, really, Zidane. But I think, looking at it now, 37 or however many games it is into this unbeaten run, people say, well, he's inherited this brilliant team, hasn't really had to do anything, just let the players go out there. An opportunity here, all the way through Correa. And somehow Iborra drags it wide with the whole goal gaping in front of him. An enormous opportunity for Sevilla to get back into it there.
It really is. Great opportunity, and Correa does very well to get away from Nacho. He's stretching with the finish and can't get it beyond Kiko Casilla. But what about that from Iborra? A player that we've seen score some crackers over the last few weeks, months, years. Scored some very important goals for Sevilla as well, but on this occasion slices that one wide. What an opportunity for this man's side to get back into the game. They don't deserve it, but they almost got a goal back there.
Well, Sampaoli may well be thinking, OK, we're 2-0 down and 34 minutes on the clock, but don't forget it's a 180-minute tie. Still a long way to go. But certainly some hesitant defending from Real Madrid there. And Sevilla very, very close to pulling one back. Here's Nasri. Little dink into the box for Correa to chase. And Nacho Fernandez was there to put the ball out for a corner.
Well, impressive from Sevilla this, because they've been outclassed, outplayed, outscored. They're 2-0 down. It looked like it could have been 3 just a few moments ago, and now suddenly they're coming straight back at Real Madrid.
Nasri with a corner. It's headed clear by Morata. Back to Nasri. He's wrong-footed though, and it'll be a throw and some respite for Real Madrid. Just going back to that conversation about Zidane, there is perhaps a comparison to be made between Zinedine Zidane and his approach with these players, with Ancelotti and perhaps even with Vicente Del Bosque, very successful Real Madrid managers who are also accused of not being too hands-on, getting the players out there, dealing with possible ego conflicts in the changing room, but letting the players basically do what they're paid to do, which in a team like Real Madrid is obviously to provide spectacular football and steamroller all comers, which is what Zinedine Zidane's Madrid would appear to be doing.
I think if you have a look at a lot of the big teams, very often it's a former player who does manage to have success because he understands what it means to be a big player in a big club. We obviously have seen over the last few years managers coming in that haven't had such important football careers. The likes of Jose Mourinho obviously springs to mind.
Or Benitez, the perhaps nearest to it, yeah.
And of course, if you're a Pep Guardiola, if you're a Zinedine Zidane, if you're an Ancelotti, you know the pressures. You know what it means to be in a dressing room full of egos as well. And that's important, managing the egos, as you mentioned earlier. That's a job in itself almost. And it's not really surprising, I suppose, that the likes of Guardiola and Ancelotti, Vicente Del Bosque, who of course was a very important player in his day as well, and Zinedine Zidane are probably the best at it because they've experienced it firsthand.
Well, absolutely. I remember back the first half of last season when Benitez was criticised really heavily for not playing Isco, for insisting on putting Casemiro into midfield. Exactly what Zidane is being praised for doing. So perhaps it's that. If you are the scorer of one of the most iconic goals in the club's history, you've got a bit of an advantage. Toni Kroos finding James. It's picked up by Marcelo into the box. James dinks it over. It's hooked away by Escudero. Better defended on that occasion by the Andalusians.
Well, it's a missed opportunity for Real Madrid. There's a point in that move where James has to square it. I think it's for Asensio, but it could have been for Morata. But if he squares it, it's a goal. No question about it. And he doesn't get his head up. He doesn't see the player at the near post, and the chance goes begging.
Morata goes down. Play on, says the referee. Steven Nzonzi against Sevilla, looking hesitant, although it's a good ball from Nzonzi to Nasri. He can't wriggle his way out of that, but does win a free kick. Marcelo would appear to disagree with the referee on that occasion. Well, it's been a decent response to going 2-0 down from Sevilla. Very important that they can keep their heads for the remainder of this first half at least, and get back to the changing room and regroup.
Well, I think it's the best we've seen from them in this entire game. Certainly been a kick up the backside going 2 goals down. Could so easily have been 3 as well after that mess up in defence. They were quite lucky to escape without conceding there, actually. And yeah, suddenly it looks as though they're edging their way slightly back into this match. They've certainly picked up a bit of confidence from the last few minutes, I think.
Iborra finding Escudero. Gives it back to him. This is better. Steven Nzonzi manages to get beyond Rafa Varane and Casemiro, but it'll be a Real Madrid throw-in. It's impressive the support Madrid the Madrid midfielders and attackers are giving their defenders when Sevilla are getting closer to Kiko Casilla's area. Good performance all round so far from the home side. Here's Toni Kroos. Now Asensio finding Marcelo in acres of space down the left. Nothing Marcelo likes more. Just overhit the cross, and Morata unable to get to it. The throw taken quickly. This is Vitolo. Again, Modric helping out Carvajal on that occasion. Rami out to Nzonzi. Mariano. Rami. Nasri was dropped so deep to try and see something of the ball. Rico. Kept in play by Escudero. And Carvajal.
Diagonal run, keeps himself onside. I'm not sure what he tries to do with the finish. I think maybe he was trying to dink it over the goalkeeper, but he gets it horribly wrong. Slides it straight into where the goalkeeper's diving. It was almost looked like a mini dummy from him before he took the shot, and then I honestly think he got it all wrong.
Well, there are jeers echoing around the Bernabeu. We think it's Marcelo who's picked up that yellow card, presumably for something he must have said. Complaining that perhaps the player was offside. Either way, very nearly squeezing that one in too. Kiko Casilla forced to get down low near his left-hand post to block it. There's, well, quite a lot of dissent going on there, and it's clearly something that Marcelo said to Mateo Laoz that he didn't like. This is the result of the following play. And Mateo Laoz making friends and influencing people in the Bernabeu. Meanwhile, it's Modric. Wide to Marcelo. 3 minutes to go before the break. A break that Sevilla, on the one hand, really need. On the other hand, they have responded well in the last 8 or 10 minutes. Luka Modric. James back to Modric. Lovely footwork there. Picks out Asensio. Asensio's cross to the far post. Down goes Modric, and what's the ref given? Penalty to Real Madrid. Just over 2 minutes to go to the break, and this is exactly what Sevilla had to avoid. Talking his way into the referee's book, Gabriel Mercado there.
Well, he thought long and hard about that one. The referee, Mateo Laoz, had a really good look at it, and eventually blew his whistle and pointed to the spot. Let's see this one again.
It's a clear shove, I think, from Mariano there. Let's see if we can see it better here.
I'm not sure if Mariano isn't shoved,
I think you're
beforehand by James, to be honest.
I think you're right. He just displaces him, and then the Brazilian defender, well, there's not much contact, but the contact was visible. Either way, penalty given. James Rodriguez has a chance to make it 3. And no mistake. Nothing Sergio Rico could do about that one. Real Madrid go 3-0 up. James gets his second. And it's starting to look like a bit of a slaughter, Duncan.
It is. I think on this occasion, Sevilla have been harshly done by. I don't think it should have been a penalty kick. Maybe we should watch a couple more replays before we come to that conclusion, but it looked to me like Mariano was shoved into the Real Madrid player, Modric, who then fell over. I don't think it should have been a penalty kick, but as soon as he pointed to the spot, James stepped up, and what a confident penalty that is. Just that stuttering run, sending the goalkeeper to the ground and putting the ball the other side. Wonderful penalty from James, showing real confidence considering he's not playing all that much. But that's 2 goals for him now, 3 for Real Madrid, and they are flying.
Well, James, Morata, Asensio, players who up front know that their opportunities are going to be limited in this side. And basically they've gone out there tonight and thought to themselves, I think, let's make it really difficult for Zinedine Zidane from now on. And, well, I think there's a great example. Excellent pressing there from Marco Asensio, causing all kinds of problems to Vitolo, a physical specimen in his own right. Excellent work from Asensio there.
I think when you see a side doing so well, the players are just enjoying themselves so much. You can really tell that this Real Madrid side are enjoying their football. They're just desperate to get on the ball. You saw Luka Modric sliding in there alongside Dani Asensio to try and win the ball back for Real Madrid. Really impressive.
And that's good work again. It was Mariano's cross, but it was Morata doing the defending. Let's have a look again. Here's the opening goal. Brilliant finish. Absolutely first-class finish there from James Rodriguez. And there's the second. It's Varane there circled in white. And you can see Rami just turns his back on him. The player closest is Vicente Iborra, but it's clearly Rami's job. The half-time whistle has gone. The Bernabeu is on its feet, and it may well be on its feet because they've seen an exhibition here over the opening 45 minutes in the Santiago Bernabeu. At half-time, Real Madrid 3, Sevilla 0. 2 goals from James, 1 from Rafael Varane. We'll be back in just about a quarter of an hour to bring you the second half of this first leg, last 16 Copa